Distinguished audience, it is my pleasure to wish you the warmest welcome at the National Bank of Romania for this, the 9th edition of the annual scientific conference of the Romanian academic economists from abroad, the ERMAS conference, or ERMAS, how you like to say ERMAS. On behalf of the board of the National Bank of Romania, I wish to congratulate the scientific committee for their professionalism and the remarkable program they have put together. Allow me also to extend our greetings to all our partners and their contribution to organizing this event in academia. I recall with great pleasure the first edition of the ERMAS conference back in 2014, when I had the honor to be the keynote speaker. I remember the excellent quality of the ideas and of the papers presented. We meet again today for this 9th edition, jointly organized by the National Bank of Romania and the Bucharest University of Economic Studies. Over the last 10 years, the ERMAS conference has become the flagship of the economics academic conferences in Romania, with the constant support of the Babeș-Bolyai University, and starting with the 2019 of the ERMAS Association. Universities from Iași, Sibiu, Timișoara, and for the current edition, the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, have also been supporting this initiative. And of course, your constant and impressive support as contributors to each edition of the conference with high-quality research papers. I do believe that our partnership with academia is based on a long-standing tradition as a pillar for progress and public policy development in Romania. Back in 2014, I encouraged you to dedicate some of your research to specific problems of the Romanian economy and society, to participate in public debates on relevant economic topics, to collaborate with the local academic environment, as well as with the institutions in charge of implementing economic policies. Many of you did so, and I thank you very much. The activity of the ERMAS Association, the common projects some of you have developed in close collaborations with my colleagues from the National Bank of Romania, as well as your partnership with domestic universities, are excellent examples, and I encourage you to continue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that having been trained in the past, of course, and having worked in the field of economics for more than 50 years, I'm fully aware of the relevance of research for public policy decision making. We at the National Bank of Romania have been trying to stimulate quality research as a credible source of economic policy advice. We have encouraged participation to other events of at least similar scope, in which the NBI experts will present results of their research, focus mainly on problems specific to the Romanian economy. The interaction with and the validation of the results by the economic community, including you, the academic diaspora, represent important steps in validating the research. Thus, our partnership with ERMAS Association and Babeș-Bolyai University in organizing the future edition of this conference comes as a natural step towards reaching the above-mentioned objectives. Now, implementing monetary policy in emerging economies has always been a challenging task. As experience has taught us, for a small open economy like Romania, with a fully liberalized capital account and frequently unpredictable capital flows, multiple monetary policy instruments are needed most of the time. Even more so now, in an environment prone to ample shocks and increased volatility related to the pandemic and the current war in neighboring Ukraine. I am glad to see that some of the papers included in the program of the conference address this issue of multiple instruments, including also the exchange rate policies. Macroprudential policies are also helpful for maintaining financial stability, and these issues are also addressed. The current economic context, marked by overlapping crises, represents quite a challenge to the policymakers. For central banks across the world, bringing down the relatively high and persistent inflation is such a test. Many of the papers that are going to be presented analyze the determinants of inflation, such as energy prices, global supply chain pressures, labor market and fiscal policy, and its interaction with monetary policy. We are very interested to hear your papers and the result of your research. Ladies and gentlemen, now about your knowledge regarding Romania, let me give you a few figures. In the year 2000, when Romania started the negotiation process to join the European Union, the GDP per capita in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity or purchasing power standards, represented only 26% of the EU average, EU per capita average. It was, those days, the lowest among the EU and the EU candidate countries. In 2007, when Romania joined the EU, its GDP per capita represented 44% of the EU 7 per capita average, also in terms of purchasing power parity. The same ratio now, GDP per capita in PPP, is 77%, above Greece, which is 68%, similar with that of Portugal, 77%, or Hungary, 77%, and slightly below Poland, 79%. But it's an impressive convergence, but it's not time to joy. Growth in Romania during this period was unevenly or not evenly distributed. Bucharest is currently above 160 of GDP per capita, while much slower converge took place in other regions. I will stop here, not to enter on a lot of details, but I cannot emphasize strongly enough that continuing and improving the absorption of EU funds is the best way to boost the potential growth of our economy, and potentially is also good for a better distribution of the GDP in the country. An additional factor proving to boost the economy is, of course, the human capital. Understanding the sources of economic growth and the role of education, topics that many papers of the Today conference during today and tomorrow address, is of a paramount importance. Now, regarding your social, program, last but not least, during your social program, you are going to the Carpathians. I do hope you are getting rid of this, to say, high temperature in Bucharest. In the Carpathians is much cooler. You are going to Sinai and the Brancastle, and you'll discover, or part of you will rediscover, some of Romania beauties, a country with a rich history. Now, like additional element, allow me to add a few funny facts about Sinai. This is the eponym of Mount Sinai. By the end of the 17th century, a group of Romanian monks, led by Mihail Cantacuzino, a leader, a landlord of those times, went on a pilgrimage to Palestine at the Sinai or Sinai Peninsula to St. Ekaterina Monastery, which is situated, if you visit it, quite on the bottom of Mount Sinai. Once returned, they decided to establish a monastery in a poorly inhabited area, but abundantly beautiful one, and call it Sinai Monastery from Mount Sinai. A century later, the first king of Romania visited this monastery, which was in a wild area, but was beautiful to say. Carol I, the first king of Romania, fell in love with the place and built Peleș Castle, the summer residence, which we will also visit. Little by little, Sinai from Sinai became popular among the members of the high society. They started building summer residences as well as hotels, villas. One can still admire the original buildings of the 19th and 20th centuries, and I do hope you will have an enjoyable trip in the Carpathians. Now, to conclude, I'm confident that the conference will be a successful event, and I wish you all the fruitful debates and a pleasant stay in Romania. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you, Governor Isărescu, to you and to the entire board for your support in organizing this event. Now we would like to invite Professor Marius Profiroiu, the Vice Rector of the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, to have a welcome speech. Thank you.
Dear National Bank Governor, dear guests and colleagues, on behalf of the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, I am delighted to welcome you at this high-profile conference that aims to share the latest research relevant for Romania. We are honored to be conference co-organizer alongside ERMAS and the National Bank of Romania in the very year when we celebrated our 110th anniversary. We view this conference as an opportunity to enhance collaboration with highly experienced academics and practitioners with Romanian roots. We are actively engaged in prestigious international academic and non-academic organizations. The Bucharest University of Economic Studies values building meaningful, sustainable partnership and connecting to colleagues in other academic environments. Moreover, the university has constantly tried to enhance its reputation in the country and abroad. We have positioned ourselves as a reliable partner through a continuous preoccupation for the quality of teaching and research. The outcome is constant improvement of our position in international league tables for years in a row. The Bucharest University of Economic Studies was the highest ranking Romanian university in the prestigious Times Higher Education Old University ranking. In the latest QS ranking by subject, our university is ranked between 400 and 450 in the world, and number 1 in Romania for economic and econometrics. Building meaningful relationship with prestigious universities, academics and professionals around the world has been a priority for our internationalization efforts dedicated to strategic growth of our program. We are aware that belonging to a global academic community is a foundation of providing new development opportunities to students and academic staff. An outstanding example of successful collaboration with diaspora members, facilitated by Professor Dan Nicolae, is the organization of the Data Science Summer School in collaboration with the University of Chicago for the 5th time this summer. In order to improve our position in international rankings, we would like to see more international academic teaching on our programs and collaborating with our researchers. At the moment, only 20% of our visiting lecturers are international researchers from the diaspora, but we aim to increase such participation. Finding research topics of mutual interest or setting up transnational research teams is a priority for us. The university has constantly tried to upgrade its research capacity and has provided considerable development opportunity to its academic staff. Over the past 15 years, we have delivered a master program in academic capacity building designed to enhance teaching, research, and publication abilities of our staff. In order to attract young talent and maintain engagement with our alumni, we aim to bring the campus closer to these categories by sharing personalized updates on events and developments. As new industry emerge and new skills become needed to remain competitive in the workforce, we plan to expand the range of programs essential to career development and create new learning opportunities for graduates. To increase the relevance of such new opportunities, participation of prominent members of our diaspora in the university teaching and research activities become a priority. Many of you are graduates of our university, and you consider us a solid partner with an ever stronger reputation and visibility. Using the knowledge and skills of dynamic international communities is a priority to be addressed through multiple strategies. Digital media channels can sustain and multiply encounters through digital infrastructures without replacing traditional encounters, but further expanding and transforming their agency in the digital age. The generous program of this conference, the participants' expertise, and the research topics to be explored indicates the wide range of ideas and experience to be shared over the next few days. I would like to thank the organizer and the Governor of National Bank for giving us the opportunity to engage and interact. Let us explore this opportunity to everyone's advantage. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Profiroiu. Our next speaker will be Rector Daniel David with a live intervention from Cluj-Napoca from the Babeș-Bolyai University.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I hope that everything is okay with the online presentation. In fact, I'm just invited to say a brief word in this opening and welcoming session. And the first idea is related to the fact that I'm very happy to see this conference organized under the umbrella of one of the most prestigious institutions in Romania, in general and in the economical field, namely the National Bank of Romania. Of course, with the support of two of the best Romanian universities, namely the Academy of Economical Studies and Babeș-Bolyai University. I'm not going to enter into rankings and different evaluation systems, but for our guests, I would just say that UBB in the last 7 years is the best university of Romania if we combine all the international rankings. The second idea, which is more important, is related to how we see diaspora. Because truly speaking, in Romania and also at the international level, I would dare to say, there are two main paradigms. The first one is to try to see diaspora as an asset, so that we would hope for bidirectional connections in which diaspora could improve the academic area in Romania, for example, and at the same time, Romania could help diaspora wherever it is in the world. However, there is another paradigm, and of course these two paradigms are conflicting each other. The second paradigm is related in a way to the idea that diaspora could be at the same time a danger, especially for more rigid and outdated areas in the academic field. And this paradigm is still strong in many countries, and I would dare to say that in some parts, even in Romania, it's not a dominant one, but it's still a strong one. And what I want to say and to congratulate and to honor the activities of ERMAS is that somehow, in a very clever, determined, and gentle way, ERMAS managed to be appreciated by people from both paradigms. So practically even the most rigid or outdated areas from economics and business still want to be connected to ERMAS in a more direct or indirect way, feeling that they could benefit in their development. So to make a long story short, I think that what ERMAS is doing in Romania could be defined as a set of best practices, and I'm very happy to see this conference continuing, and I'm eager to welcome you next year in Cluj-Napoca, but meanwhile, just enjoy Bucharest and the conference there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rector Daniel David. And now from the ERMAS Association side, we'll have Florin Bâlbâie having a short speech. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's an unspeakable honor to talk in the name of this association that is like a very important project for us and for this country. I cannot really tell you how kind of honored I am. Maybe I should give you a couple of hints. One is that I am actually an alumnus of ASE, and it was also my first academic job in '98. And among these, so I was doing basically two things. One was to be the TA of Governor Isărescu in a monetary policy course. And I think like half of my papers are about monetary policy. And the other was, to work with the Professor Altar, who is unfortunately not here today, who is, I think, one of the beacons of economic research, and I would like to honor him indirectly on this occasion. Just to give you a hint, is a person who actually gave me, as a third-year undergraduate student, Samuelson's The Foundations of Economic Analysis and Sargent's Macro Theory. So, go take this and work. So I think I'm telling this story because it is I think, kind of the essence of what we're trying to do with ERMAS, which is to get a little bit out of comfort zone and realize that this is how you grow and this is how you improve things. So I think that's kind of a model that I've been trying to follow, and that's something we're trying to do. So I think we've come a long way since those, in these 25 years, not only in GDP per capita. I think that's also reflected in the way that academia and research have moved in Romania, and I'm very happy to see that. The quality of papers that we're receiving at ERMAS over these last years has been like tremendously high. And it's true, some of these people go abroad, but one hopes that eventually they will come back and they will strengthen these links and we can talk in more detail later in other forums about how we can do that. So we welcome all such ideas, and ERMAS is kind of a little step, a little drop in the ocean, like trying to go in that direction of improving these synergies and trying to bring this kind of convergence also in academia and in research. So I wrote a few things down because I knew I would get emotional when I start telling you about BNR and Manoilescu. I was reading Manoilescu's memoirs when I was a student, and he was the governor of the central bank and also an incredible intellectual. So this is, what I wanted to tell you was that, this constant effort that we're doing as stranieri, we call them in football, coming back and trying to kind of help the local research community is very small compared to what people do here. And I wanted to honor especially two people who are kind of local heroes in moving things, and these are Mihai Copaciu and Cristian Lițan, who have been So our shared dream is to continue these efforts to build like a true research community, and to do that by just aligning incentives to make it kind of optimal. We're economists, and we want to make it optimal for people who are academics to do research and put their incentives there. And I think, this is really not an easy thing to do, and I think we're kind of we're trying to move in that direction. And this is one of our main objectives. And I think so there are things that one can mention as being, important steps in the direction. It's been 5 years that the National Bank of Romania is doing the BERS seminar, the research seminar. And that's just one small example. All sorts of collaborations with foreign institutions that are built, these are important steps. But to end on like an economist note, we know from Nobel Prize winning research that things like externalities, research and development, institutions, learning by doing, etc., are important. So, of course, we want to put them into practice, and I think this is kind of what we're trying to do here, and hopefully that will lead to convergence in all sorts of measures, including research. And academic excellence. And I want ASE to be in the top 10 in the world, of course, because I'm an alumnus. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Florin, and to all of you for your support and contribution to the conference. Now, just small organizational stuff. If you need any help, just follow the guys or ask the guys with the red line on the bottom of the badges, are the organizers. So if you need any help, just ask us, and we'll be there for you. Now, I would like to invite you to go for a group photo on the Museum of the National Bank of Romania. You will be guided towards that, and then to have lunch on the opposite room and return here for Larry's talk at 1 p.m. Thank you very much. Thanks.